We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Good morning, friends. Myself Ravindra Nayak. I am an assistant professor in IT department at Kalol Institute of Technology and Research Center, Kalol. Friends, I hope you all are healthy and happy at your home. Today I am going to take a lecture on software engineering subjects. Software engineering is given in the 6th semester of IT engineering. So I am taking one of the topic, software. We all know there are different kind of softwares are available, and we all know that software is basically nothing but a collection of programs. Each and every program are designed to provide some kind of input or output to other programs. They all are linked together to perform some task. So basically all programs collectively develop a software. Now today we are going to learn about one topic, which is the software development life cycle. Friends, we all know that how a software is developed based on different criteria, based on different rules, regulation, based on different model the companies that are using for their development process. But few of the stages which are available to all the software models, they are the analysis, the design, implementation, testing, evaluation and maintenance. So whether you are using which kind of software development model, whether you are using waterfall or incremental model, but the basic software development life cycle is required in each and every software process model. That's why it is called software development life cycle. So now we will see the first one, which is a analysis. So analysis is nothing but a fact finding. Fact finding means what? Whenever a customer or any kind of end user who requires some software and a contact to company or a person which is the expert of particular software development, then it is the duty of that person to find out the fact regarding which kind of software process, which kind of facilities, which kind of functionality, which kind of modules required in the software. So they basically ask the questions which start with as shown in the screen, with who, what, where, when, why. So after asking so many questions, the facts are find out by an expert. So basically it is an iterative process. Why iterative process? Because at each and every stage when we are developing any kind of software, we require some modification at some place. So after every iteration there may be possibility of doing some kind of modification in a particular stage. So that's why it is known as an iterative process in software development. As we already discussed that one person which is expert and which asks user which kind of software required, we may call him a system analyst. So what is the duty of system analyst? As we already discussed, they ask, they clarify, they show which kind of models are currently available in the market, what are the basic functionality they may use in their software. So all these things they explain to the end user or customer. The customer give their queries, their requirement list, and after that a system analyst finalize the list which is used or developed in the final software. Now extracting the client needs. So as we discussed, the system analyst asks so many questions to the end user or customer and finally make a conclusion regarding the customer's requirement. So the extracting the client need, which is known as the requirement elicitation. Every time it is a duty of system analyst to properly explain whether the need of customer is useful to it, whether they require any kind of change in that, and after that they decide the final requirement elicitation. The next step in the SDLC means software development life cycle process. So the next step is designing. So designing is the process once you declare that or collected all the requirement from the customer or end user, you start designing the software. So there are different kinds of commonly used forms in designing data structure diagrams, the pseudocode. Structure diagram means which kind of structure your system have or your software have. That means where the data will go, how the data will link with each other. All these are in the structure diagrams. Pseudocode means the actual code which will implement your software. So after the analysis, the second stage is designing of software process. So once you design or form a platform or basic model, that is the third one in the software development life cycle process is implementation. Implementation means whatever you decided or designed, that is implemented by your employees. So what they did, they are divide the entire requirements into number of tasks or number of modules. For example, 6 or 7 modules are required in a software. So what they does, they give each and every person a particular module and they all work on that particular model. So this is the implementation. But before starting the implementation, we require some kind of environment, that is sometimes called as front end and back end software or front end and back end tool. Front end tool means which is visual to the user, which kind of graphics or which kind of visualization they require, and back end tools means which is not visible to the user but all the database or all the data of particular software are stored in that environment. So before starting implementation, you require to choose which kind of front end and back end software you require to develop particular process. Now the next one is testing. So why testing is required? Once you develop any kind of software, after developing that software you require to test because your software is whether working or not as per the customer requirement. That means the output of the software is expected or unexpected. Another thing is it must be in the basic boundaries of conditions. All the softwares or some of the softwares are required some kind of restrictions. For example, if we have made any software for an employee, so the salary is a restricted things which may be bounded thing. So we can't go beyond some particular limit. So all these restrictions are whether handled properly or not. Next one is the exception. Exceptions handling means whether the user are giving or using some data or input some data which is not as per the requirement type. Requirement type means, for example, you required integer type of data or numerical data, and if any user are inserting text data, so this is not match as per the software. So this kind of exception handling shows a message that you are entering wrong type of data. That means you require to enter a numeric data instead of character data. So this kind of testing are done before providing the software to the clients. Now next is the evaluation. After complete the testing, you must evaluate your system and judge this again a set of criteria which you see in the screen. They are the screen layout, the help required, user prompts, fitness for purpose, maintainability, robustness, reliability, portability. That means these are the user requirements which are met or not, that you must evaluate before providing this software to the user. Next one is maintenance. Okay, as you supply the software or product to your end user or your customer, you require a maintenance of that software. Maintenance depends on different kinds. For example, okay, after providing the software, if there are any kind of problem occurs during the execution, so you must require the maintenance. Suppose after a periodical amount, the company itself check the data. That means, okay, as per the input and output, whether they are produced properly or not, they analyze the results after periodic time intervals, and then they apply different kind of maintenance on the software. So this kind of maintenance will improve the software not only for that client but also for the client who may use this software in the future. These maintenance activities are identified as a part of corrective maintenance, adaptive maintenance and perfective maintenance. So as we discussed, corrective means there are any kind of errors or correctness required, so we must apply that. Some adaptation means if there are new technology are in the market, so you must do that. Perfective, that means you are going to make the software which is capable of handling current trends available in the markets. Now the maintenance cost. So the maintenance is very costly. Why? Because you require sometimes to visit the customers, the companies, the place where you actually provided your software. It is not easy for every time because sometimes your customers are abroad also. So at that time you require to go there and do the maintenance according to the customer requirement, because this is the main things of quality of software. So maintenance is very costly. It is vital that errors are detected as early as possible. Suppose you find any kind of error during the maintenance, so you can easily solve it. Suppose you require any kind of change in the restriction, whether as I discussed in the salary. Suppose first of all, when the company purchased the product, they decided that the maximum salary of any employee is 2 lakh. Now they require to change it from 2 to 2.5 lakh. So at that time you require that kind of maintenance. Suppose they give the restriction on the lower bound, that means the minimum salary would be 20 or 25,000, and now they want to change it. So at that time you also require to change it. So all the maintenance are done as per time interval. Now we see one more example, which is a real-time example of software development process. Suppose you are developing any house for a particular family members. So at that time what you will do? You will collect all the members of your family and then ask them which kind of facilities they require in their house. So this is compared with the analysis stage, because the collective requirement of all the family members are discussed with the architect, which is a system analyst in software development system. So this is the one phase of analysis. Second one is designing. Once all the requirements are decided, the second stage is design. That means they design the actual house, which facility and which kind of elevation they are using. So after designing stage, they will implement it on the soil. Next, testing. So this is a software testing is totally different. Here you can't test their house, but you can check the strength of the material in that things. So we are just correlating these things with our software development life cycle to easily understand. Okay, this kind of stage are also used in some different place. Then evaluation and maintenance, as we all know, that is possible in the house. So this is the software development life process cycle which is used for any software development. As we discussed earlier, different companies use different kind of software models. So there are different models like waterfall model. So waterfall model is required. Some use incremental model, some use spiral model. So whether you are using which kind of model is totally depend on the company which is developing the software for end user. It is not necessary to use particular model. You can use any kind of model, but you must follow some particular software development life cycle process, and you follow all the steps in each and every model. There are some other model like RAD model is also available. Incremental model is mostly useful because every iteration it making some changes in the particular phase. As we discussed, it is an iterative process. Iterative process means you can't do perfectly all the stage. You require any kind of modification after completion of project, you must come back. So at that time, whenever you are using iterative process, at every successful iteration you are producing a product which is useful to the end user, which is useful to your customer. They must be customer friendly or end user friendly so that each and everyone can use it effectively. So friend, this is the software development life process of software engineering subject. I hope you all will use it, read it and like this. If you have any kind of suggestion, you may ask me. Thank you very much. This is really a great thing when I am delivering a lecture for you. Thank you very much.